Life is full of patterns, and whether you notice them or not, they govern much of what happens around you. For example, have you ever wondered why most people are about average height, yet no one is 5 times taller than the average? That's the world of the normal distribution, a neat little curve where most values cluster around the average, and outliers are rare. It's like tossing apples onto a cart at the market. Most will land in a predictable pile with just a few rolling to the edges. But here's the kicker. Not all systems in life follow this clean, predictable pattern. Things like wealth, inequality, or natural disasters break this mold entirely. Now, contrast this with something far messier: power laws. Imagine walking into a city skyline where a few massive skyscrapers tower over countless small buildings. That's not random. It's a power law in action. A world where a small number of giants overshadow everyone else. The same logic applies to billionaires and their wealth or viral YouTube videos with views in the millions. These distributions have no single average to rely on and are dominated by rare extreme events. It's this unpredictable chaos that makes power laws fascinating and, honestly, a little unnerving. With power laws, you only need one big event to dwarf everything else. Think about YouTube. Less than 4% of videos hit 10,000 views, but those rare hits make up over 93% of all traffic. The rules shift entirely when power laws are at play. You're no longer just looking at averages, you're gambling and dealing with extremes. The big question is, how do we even begin to understand these different forces? The journey leads us to a curious Italian named Vilfredo Pareto, who stumbled upon a life-changing discovery. Back in the late 19th century, Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist and engineer, noticed something strange while tending to his garden. He realized that 80% of his pea harvest came from just 20% of the plants. Intrigued, he decided to look further and wondered if this imbalance existed elsewhere. And wouldn't you know it, when he studied income distribution across multiple countries using tax records, the same pattern emerged. 80% of the wealth was held by just 20% of the population. This wasn't just a fluke. It was a fundamental insight into how resources and outcomes are distributed in life. Pareto's discovery wasn't just groundbreaking, it was beautifully mathematical. When he plotted these income distributions on a normal curve, the data didn't fit. Instead, he used a log scale and found a power law hiding in plain sight. The graph transformed into a straight line, revealing that for every doubling of income, the number of people earning that amount dropped sharply. It was like the universe had a formula for inequality. Predictable, consistent, yet profoundly unfair. This 80/20 rule, or Pareto principle, now applies far beyond wealth. In business, 20% of customers bring in 80% of profits, and in nature, 20% of species dominate ecosystems. Here's what makes Pareto's findings extraordinary. They apply to systems everywhere, from cities to Netflix statistics. But the shocking part isn't just the 80/20 split. It's how this tiny percentage has the power to shape the entire game. Think about it. If you could identify and focus on that vital 20%, you'd tap into the force shaping success, failure, and everything in between. The ripple effect of Pareto's discovery doesn't just end there, though. It redefines how we view extremes and outliers, shifting us into the fascinating tug-of-war between normal distributions and power laws. Normal distributions are the kind of math we've been taught to see everywhere. It's predictable, structured, and comfortable. Most data points cluster around the mean, with extremes fading into rarity. It's why you don't see anyone 5 times taller than the average person, or why test scores typically follow a bell curve. In this world, the average defines reality, and deviations are mere noise. Society thrives on this pattern to guide expectations, from insurance policies to height charts. However, power laws are an entirely different beast, shattering that sense of order and giving unpredictability the spotlight. In the world of power laws, most events are small and meaningless, but the rare extreme outlier completely overshadows the rest. Think of a single viral YouTube video racking up millions of views, while millions of other videos barely break 100 views. Or wealth, a handful of billionaires control more than an entire nation's worth of people. This isn't coincidence, it's a natural pattern of proportionate imbalance. In contrast to the bell curve, power laws produce a long tail of extreme possibilities where the unexpected dominates the expected. And here's the catch. In this reality, the average means absolutely nothing. These differences aren't just intellectual exercises, they reshape how you see the rules of life. In normal distributions, consistency brings control. But in power law systems, the game flips upside down. Outliers achieve disproportionate power, and their ripple effects redefine what's possible. Not everything in life will fit the bell curve, and the secret to picking the right strategy lies in knowing which game you're playing. But how do you make sense of these improbable odds? For that, let's take a trip to the casino and see how probabilities play out in real time. Imagine walking into a casino, but instead of roulette or slot machines, you're offered 3 unique games designed to reveal the hidden nature of probabilities. The first game appears simple. Toss a coin 100 times, and each time it lands on heads. You win $1 because the probabilities are evenly distributed. Your results will cluster relatively close to the expected payout. Sure, you might win a few more dollars or lose a few along the way, but over hundreds of repetitions, everything averages out nicely. Welcome to the comfort zone of the normal distribution, a world where extremes are rare. But the second game isn't quite so forgiving. Here, every coin toss either multiplies your winnings by 1.1 if it's heads, or reduces them by 10% if it's tails. This adds complexity. Small, random fluctuations compound over time to create a range of possible outcomes. You might get lucky and rack up a significant payout, or you might watch as your winnings dwindle. The average payout may still hover around $1, but the spread between the best and worst outcomes grows wider. This is a log normal distribution in action, where you can see exaggerated inequalities, think stock market returns or salary growth. And then there's the third game, the St. Petersburg paradox, where things get truly wild. In this game, you toss coins until you get a heads, and your payout doubles with every tail beforehand. Theoretically, the payout is infinite, which sounds fantastically tempting, until you realize how rare it is to stay in the game long enough for it to matter. The staggering extremes here fit the definition of a power law, where rare, massive wins dwarf all other outcomes. These games might just seem like harmless fun, but they highlight how the rules of the world can shift when probabilities change. Understanding these differences is crucial because outliers can turn the casino or life completely upside down. In life, outliers aren't just unusual, they're game changers. They bend reality in ways that can be both exhilarating and disruptive. Think about the wealthiest individuals in the world. Figures like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Their fortunes are so outsized that they don't just distort the averages. They redefine the conversation entirely. Or consider natural disasters. A single Category 5 hurricane or a massive earthquake can cause more damage than hundreds of small weather events combined. These extreme events, or outliers, are fundamental to power laws where the unexpected doesn't just exist, it dominates. This skewed perspective plays into nearly every aspect of modern life. Picture data breaches. One massive attack on a major company can expose the private information of millions, while smaller hacks barely make the news. Or in the investment world, venture capitalists know this truth well. Outliers drive profitability. Most startups fail, but a single runaway success like Uber or Airbnb can return more than the losses of hundreds of failed investments. These examples highlight why focusing solely on averages or assuming every event has equal weight can leave you blind to the forces that truly shape outcomes. So, how do you navigate a world where a single outlier carries more weight than everything else combined? The answer lies in understanding how these extreme events emerge and preparing for them. Whether it's protecting your data, diversifying your investments, or even learning to identify the right risks to take. Outliers demand a strategic approach, but these aren't just random phenomena. They're deeply tied to patterns in our world. To see how this works in action, we'll take a closer look at how power laws show up in the structure of nature itself. Nature doesn't follow neat rules. It thrives in chaos, and power laws are its signature move. Take earthquakes, for example. Small tremors happen all the time. So minor you don't even feel them. But every so often, a colossal earthquake shakes entire cities, releasing exponentially more energy than hundreds of small ones combined. This pattern isn't random. It's a power law, where a handful of extreme events hold more significance than everything else. Magnitude and energy behave in ways that leave scientists and engineers constantly planning for the unexpected. The Earth whispers a warning, Small disruptions often signal the potential for monumental shifts. The same can be said for forest fires. Most fires burn through just a few trees, a quick blaze that fizzles out. But once in a while, the conditions are just right or wrong, depending on your perspective. And a single spark causes a megafire, like the 1988 blaze in Yellowstone that consumed 1.4 million acres. What's fascinating is that these extreme events don't feel special in the moment. The same lightning strike that triggers a small fire can also set the stage for a catastrophic one, depending on the conditions of the forest. It's a stark reminder that scale depends not just on the spark, but on the system's readiness to ignite. And let's not ignore the elegance hidden behind these patterns. Fractals. You'll find them in river networks, the branching of your blood vessels, or even a leaf's veins. These structures remind us that power laws aren't just about destruction. They're about structure too. Fractals occur because nature tends to self-organize in ways that scale indefinitely. They're a visual representation of how the smallest elements build up to create something infinitely complex. But how does this self-organizing behavior work? And why do systems seem to naturally drift toward a state on the edge of chaos? Some systems in nature naturally flirt with chaos. They don't need someone adjusting dials or flipping switches. They organize themselves to the brink of instability, a phenomenon known as self-organized criticality, SOC. Imagine a forest. As trees grow, the canopy thickens and fuel for fires accumulates. It's a ticking time bomb, waiting for one stray lightning strike to send the entire system into flames. But here's the intriguing part. The forest doesn't randomly explode into chaos. It reaches a delicate balance where the smallest spark can ripple into an inferno. This tendency to hover on the edge of disaster isn't just unique to forests, it's how many of the world's complex systems function. SOS reveals a deeper truth. Systems in critical states behave fundamentally differently. Picture tectonic plates grinding against each other beneath the Earth's surface. Most of the time, these movements are microscopic and harmless. But as stresses accumulate, you get earthquakes, ranging from minor shakes to city-shattering disasters. Like the forest fires, small triggers can cascade unpredictably, creating massive impacts. SOC blurs the line between order and chaos, demonstrating that systems don't just passively exist, they evolve toward this critical edge where extremes aren't just possible, they're inevitable. What's fascinating is that SOS crops up in places you'd least expect. It's not just natural systems. Entire economies can linger in critical states, with stock markets subject to crashes sparked by small, seemingly harmless events. The same goes for technology. Think of server outages that, once triggered, ripple through entire networks. SOC teaches us something profound. No system is immune to this cycle of order and instability. But if systems gravitate toward this criticality, what universal principles govern such behavior? That's where simulations and mathematical tools unlock fascinating insights. To understand the seemingly chaotic forces that govern critical systems, scientists have turned to simulations and mathematical models. One of the simplest yet most profound tools is the sand pile simulation, a thought experiment where grains of sand are added to a pile one by one. For a while, the pile grows steadily until it reaches a tipping point. Suddenly, a single grain causes an avalanche. These avalanches come in all sizes, from barely noticeable slides to massive collapses that reset the system. And here's the kicker: the size of the avalanches follows a power law. This small simulation mirrors real-world phenomena like earthquakes, forest fires, and even financial crashes. But what makes these models so fascinating is how they reveal universal patterns across completely different systems. This is where the concept of universality classes comes in. Whether it's the branching of blood vessels, the structure of networks, or the behavior of magnets at their Curie temperature, many systems share similar dynamics at critical points. For example, as you heat a magnet, its atomic spins start to fluctuate wildly. At just the right temperature, the system teeters on the edge, producing fractal-like patterns that can be described with the same mathematical rules as sandpile avalanches. This universality helps us simplify the incomprehensible. By understanding one system, we gain insights into countless others. What's truly astonishing is how these models can reflect human-made systems too. Cities follow power laws in their population distributions, just as financial markets resemble sand piles in how risk builds and collapses. From the smallest grains of sand to the sprawling structures of human life, the laws of criticality and fractals connect it all. But these aren't just abstract ideas. They're deeply tied to how industries operate and how some thrive despite the unpredictability. As we shift into these real-world applications, let's explore how industries like venture capital and publishing leverage these principles to navigate uncertainty and seize success. The principles of power laws and criticality aren't confined to nature. They control much of the business and economic world to take venture capital investments. For example, in this high-risk game, most startups fail outright. Some might survive, but their profits remain modest. Yet, the rare outlier, a company like Airbnb or Uber, delivers massive returns that overshadow the losses from hundreds of failed bets. For VC firms, embracing these extremes isn't optional. It's the entire business model. It's not about chasing consistency. It's about placing intelligent bets that could result in life-changing wins. The same holds true in the entertainment and publishing industries. Streaming platforms like Netflix rely on an incredibly small percentage of blockbuster hits to generate most of their viewership. The top 6% of shows account for over half the viewing hours. Similarly, while most books barely sell a few thousand copies, a runaway success like Harry Potter can transform an entire publishing house into a global giant. These industries thrive because they understand that they live in a world governed by power laws. Instead of obsessing over averages, they focus on finding or creating those rare, transformative hits. Even industries built on stability, like insurance, aren't immune to power laws. The risk of extreme events, such as the megafires in Paradise, California, or catastrophic earthquakes, often overwhelms smaller insurers who fail to prepare for these scenarios. One disastrous event is all it takes to bankrupt an otherwise stable company. These examples show the importance of understanding which game you're playing. If your industry is driven by power laws and not normal distributions, you must adjust your strategies accordingly. But what happens when power laws begin shaping your personal decisions? That's where everything we've discussed comes full circle. Life demands a different mindset depending on the game you're in. If you're navigating a world governed by normal distributions, consistency and careful planning pay off. Think of careers like running a restaurant or managing an airline. Success comes from balancing averages. Each meal served or passenger flown adds incrementally to your bottom line. In these environments, stability is key, and the focus is on minimizing risk since consistent performance shapes your outcome. This is the familiar, predictable world most of us were taught to plan for. But in a world ruled by power laws, the playbook changes entirely. Here, individual outliers dominate results, making persistence and calculated risks far more important than consistency. Imagine someone in venture capital. They don't need every investment to succeed. Instead, a single breakout startup can generate returns that erase all failures. The same applies to YouTube creators, where one viral video can skyrocket a career. When playing this game, the goal isn't avoiding failure altogether. It's making enough bets to ensure you're in the running when the rare, extreme success comes knocking. The challenge, of course, is recognizing which game you're playing at any given moment. Many people waste time applying the logic of normal distributions to power law-driven scenarios, and vice versa. Success comes from identifying the system at play and acting accordingly, leveraging extremes when necessary while staying grounded in structure when needed. So, what about your life? Have you been playing the right strategy, or have you been optimizing for the wrong game all along? The answers lie in embracing unpredictability and reframing your approach. So, what will you do now that you know the rules of a game most people don't even realize they're playing? The 80-20th rule, the hidden power law shaping wealth, success, and even nature itself, isn't just a concept to admire. It's a principle meant to be applied. Stop wasting your energy focusing on the 80% of effort that barely moves the needle. Instead, zoom in on that vital 20%. The people, actions, or strategies that give you the biggest payoff. Are you spreading yourself too thin, chasing minor wins, when a few intentional shifts could unlock exponential results? Think about it. Your career, business, or even personal growth could transform if you embraced this imbalance. What's that one skill, content idea, or high-value connection you've been ignoring that might completely shift your trajectory? This isn't about working harder, it's about being smarter. Let the rest of the world chase averages while you focus on the outliers, the powerful 20% that matter most. Extreme success doesn't come from doing everything, it comes from daring to focus on the vital few while ignoring the trivial many. If this resonates with you, take action right now. Reflect on your life and ask yourself, what's my 20%? And don't stop there. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications to keep learning how to work smarter, think bigger, and truly thrive in a world governed by power laws. Because the next time life feels unfair, you'll know exactly how to turn it into your biggest advantage.